The sun hangs heavy and blood-red over the primordial delta, where jungle and blackwater swamps finally dissolve. Boundaries between the jungle and the blackwater swamps dissolve into a maze of mud and ancient, twisted roots. The air is thick with the scent of decay and the low, vibrating hum of giant prehistoric insects. King Kong, the massive guardian of the heights, descends into this lowland territory, scanning the dark, murky waters. His amber eyes scan the murky waters for a threat he has felt since the first morning light. He is out of his element here, where the ground is soft and shadows move with intent. The shadows move with a liquid, cold-blooded intent as the massive ape reaches a narrow river crossing.
As Kong reaches a narrow crossing where the river slows into a deep pool, and the surface erupts. A giant crocodile, a prehistoric relic, with armor-like scales as hard as iron, launches with speed. Its jaws lined with rows of jagged teeth snap shut around Kong's forearm with immense and lethal force.
The force of the bite sends a shockwave of pain through the ape's massive and muscular frame.
Kong roars in fury, slamming his free fist into the crocodile's snout, but the reptile is master. The reptile is a master of the death roll, twisting its powerful body to drag the ape down. It tries to drag the great ape into the lightless depths of the riverbed in this struggle.
Suddenly, the trees overhanging the bank begin to groan and splinter as a new predator now emerges. A giant python, a nightmare of muscle and emerald scales, drops from the canopy like a mountain.
It does not strike the crocodile, and it targets Kong, winding massive coils around his chest and shoulders. This is a three-way collision of apex predator's warm-blooded power trapped between the swamp jaws.
Warm-blooded power is trapped between the crushing jaws and the suffocating embrace of the deep forest.
The jungle becomes a theater of absolute brutality, as Kong is pinned between two separate certain deaths.
He uses his incredible leg strength to plant his feet into the river mud, resisting the pull. His lungs strain against the python's tightening grip, while he remains anchored in the thick, black mud. With a surge of adrenaline, Kong grabs the python by its midsection, using it as a rope.
He whips the snake's body downward to collide with the crocodile's head with a massive physical impact.
The impact of the two giants momentarily dazes the crocodile, allowing Kong to pry his arm.
Kong pries his arm from its serrated jaws, as blood as dark as oil clouds the water. The battle shifts to the muddy bank as the three apex predators move out of the river. The snake tightens its coils in a desperate attempt to snap the ape's massive and strong spine. The crocodile crawls out of the water, its tail sweeping across the mud like a lethal scythe.
The tail knocks Kong's legs from under him as the three giants collapse into a chaotic heap.
The weight of the combatants crushes the undergrowth into a pulp as the brutal struggle continues here. In a final Herculean display, Kong finds a jagged lightning-struck log on the wet forest floor. He wedges the wood into the crocodile's open maw, jamming the jaws wide and neutralizing the reptile.
Neutralizing the reptile's most lethal weapon, and he reaches behind his neck, seizing the python by its throat.
He slams the python repeatedly against the stone-like hide of the crocodile, in a double assault.
The crocodile, unable to close its mouth, retreats back into the safety of the dark river water.
Exhausted and covered in deep gashes, Kong stands tall over the unconscious snake, his chest heaving. He lets out a thunderous roar that shakes the very trees defending his undisputed throne for today. He turns and begins his climb back toward the misty peaks, leaving the delta to its silence. The battle is over, but the legends of the day Titans met will echo through the jungle.
Observing the aftermath reveals how apex predators influence the structural balance of the prehistoric and dense delta.
Smaller scavengers arrive to claim the spoils left behind in the churned mud of this theater tonight.
Earlier, the crocodile basked in the sun, storing thermal energy for its explosive and cold-blooded strikes.
The python typically hunts from above, utilizing the dense foliage to ambush terrestrial prey with lethal efficiency.
Kong forages in the high ridges, but must occasionally descend for water or to maintain his borders. The overlapping territories of these giants ensure that physical conflict is inevitable in the prehistoric jungle basin.
The ape's keen senses detect subtle vibrations in the mud, alerting him to the hidden swamp predator.
The crocodile submerges, tracking the approaching warm-blooded giant with cold and absolute predatory focus here today.
Above, the python uncoils from its perch, preparing to strike as the other two predators finally meet.
Pausing at the water's edge, Kong senses danger from both the air and the dark, murky depths.
The crocodile strikes, starting a chaotic three-way battle that will redefine the hierarchy of this delta. Below the surface, Kong kicks the reptile while python coils wrap around his massive submerged legs now. They break the surface as the python squeezes Kong's chest, forcing him to gasp for vital air. The crocodile bites the ape's shoulder, and its teeth scraping against thick skin in a brutal physical assault.
Kong finds a rock and smashes it into the reptile, forcing a momentary release of the jaws.
Rolling onto the muddy bank, Kong stands up, despite the heavy python coils still wrapped around him.
The crocodile lunges again its jaws, snapping inches from the ape's face as he struggles for balance.
The python bites Kong's ear, and its fangs leaving puncture wounds as the struggle becomes increasingly more desperate.
Kong lands on the crocodile's back, pounding its armored head with fists as the python continues squeezing.
Kong's ribcage groans under pressure as its face turns red while oxygen is cut off by coils.
Kong jams the lightning-struck log into the crocodile's mouth, effectively neutralizing the primary swamp-based threat. The crocodile thrashes in pain, unable to remove the heavy log from its wide-open reptilian jaws.
Kong focuses on the python grabbing its throat with a crushing grip to end the forest threat.
The python goes limp, and Kong throws it aside like a piece of discarded and broken rope.
The crocodile retreats into the pool, its tail leaving a wide track in the thick black mud.
Kong stands in the clearing, his chest heaving as he evaluates the departure of his multiple enemies.
He lets out a roar and climbs toward the peaks, leaving the delta and its broken silence.
Night falls, and the moon reflects in the still pool where the Titans met in brutal combat.
The python begins to stir, slowly slithering back toward the trees to recover from the ape's assault.
The crocodile remains submerged in the dark water, only its eyes visible in the cold, pale moonlight. Kong reaches his cave and lies down, his wounds visible in the faint and distant starlight tonight. Morning reveals the permanent scars left on the delta floor after the three giants collided in rage.
Prehistoric deer enter the clearing to graze on ferns crushed by the weight of the apex giants.
The jungle cycle continues, despite the massive violence that occurred here only a few hours before today.
Kong heals his wounds with mud and medicinal leaves, utilizing the natural resources of his vast territory.
The python hunts again, this time a large bird, demonstrating the resilience of these prehistoric forest predators.
The crocodile ignores the log on the bank, returning to its hunt in the deep swamp waters.
From the peak, Kong watches the delta below, still the undisputed king of his complex prehistoric realm.
A rainstorm washes blood and mud from the site, resetting the theater for the next predator encounter.
Lightning strikes the python's tree as nature continues its own violent and unpredictable architectural cycle of change.
Kong finds new bamboo, his energy fully restored, as he prepares to defend his throne once again.
The python mates in the canopy, ensuring the next generation of giant predators will soon haunt forest.
Baby crocodiles hatch in the sand, ensuring the swamp will always have its own deadly and armored.
Kong watches the new predators from his lookout, knowing the struggle for dominance will never truly end.
He lets out a final growl and turns back into the shadows of his safe mountain cave.
The sun sets over the delta again, as orange light reflects in the calm and dark water. The log remains half buried in the mud, a silent testament to the ape's high physical ingenuity.
The delta is peaceful once more, with the giants hidden in their respective and dark prehistoric homes.
The entire island is a world of titans, where survival is earned through power and primal instinct.
Kong's silhouette remains at the cave entrance as the moon rises over the prehistoric and dangerous world. The legends of the day titans met will echo through this jungle for many millions of years. In the primordial delta, the cycle of the hunter and the hunted continues its eternal and brutal